Okay, time to film. Do you have everything? Yeah. Yeah. Is that the outfit you want to wear? Uh-huh. Yeah. You're okay with your makeup? All right. Uh-huh. Okay. Do you know your lines? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to have to carry you through this one again, aren't I? Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a lousy job, but somebody's got to do it. So, and yeah, all the other studio cats are in quarantine, so I guess I'm stuck with you. Well, all right then. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, well, let's do this then. It's not time for your line yet. You find yourself lost in Irvingland. Last time, Penny and Dr. Smith were out doing something or other when they came upon an alien spacecraft. Penny did what she does and tried to be friendly, but whoever's inside doesn't seem overly receptive to the idea. I'm not sure what gives me that impression, but something. Penny refuses to go. She insists on upbraiding this guy for being rude and unkind.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how it is in your world, but in ours, most people are kind and friendly.
Yes, and you, sir, are completely lacking in the social graces.
I know all about your world. It is inhabited by stupid and avaricious people.
Egad, he does know about our world. Penny stands firm until he starts shooting again. It takes a lot to convince her that you don't want to be friends. By nightfall, Smith has turned the ship into a fortress with floodlights, the force field, the whole bit. Maureen and Judy are basically humoring him because there's been no indication that the alien wants anything from them except to be left alone.
Believe me, dear lady, I have a sixth sense about these things. We are in deadly peril. I can feel it in the very marrow of my bones.
Trouble with his sixth sense is it's crosswise like the stereotypical mule. In traditional folklore, if you want to get a mule to do something, you have to tell him the opposite. You want him to go, tell him to stop. If you want to accomplish something on the Jupiter 2, do the opposite of what Dr. Smith's extra sense tells you to do.
Are you sure it isn't just a slight touch of arthritis?
This is hardly the time for humor, madam. Since the other male members of our expedition are absent, it is my duty to protect our intrepid little band.
John has left me well equipped to take care of all of us, Dr. Smith.
And it makes Dr. Smith's whatchamacallit shrivel every time John puts her in charge, since she's just a woman. But you never know. Maybe if he tries coiffed hair and lipstick, someday his whatchamacallits will be as big as hers. Just then they watch another ship of a different kind land. That's enough for Smith.
Perhaps we had better go inside.
Oh, Dr. Smith. All right, perhaps we'd better.
Who knows for what diabolical purpose they have come? Oh dear, I won't sleep a wink tonight. Wait for me!
Smith always has a soliloquy of some kind, and it usually ends like that. He needs to learn a new principle: talk little, do much. Next morning, while he's complaining about something else, weirdness happens. It's called a present. Jack Skellington should be able to explain it to you. Doom and Gloom whines that there's probably a bomb in it, even though if any of these aliens wanted to take him out, they could just walk up and say boo in his face and he'd collapse from heart failure. The robot says it's harmless, so the ladies open it.
Perfume. Oh, heavenly. Oh, here, let me. Oh, my. Oh, I'd almost forgotten that exquisite aroma.
This looks like caviar.
Caviar? Let me see. It's caviar. Oh, lovely.
I've been a musician all my life, been playing one instrument or another since I was about 4. I wish I knew how to change my tune as quickly as Dr. Smith does. Who gave them this stuff?
I did.
Does anybody in the galaxy announce themselves before they do that? His name is Kima. He says that other guy is super dangerous, so stay away from him. Why is either of them here?
I am here to fight a war.
You mean this this planet is going to become a battleground for armies?
Oh, no, Mrs. Robinson. Fortunately, my world has become too civilized for such useless violence.
Oh, thank heaven for that.
Instead, the leaders of the warring parties meet in battle on neutral ground. In this way, civilizations are not destroyed.
We may have varying definitions of the word civilized. This makes me think of that episode of the original Star Trek where two planets were fighting a virtual war, and if your area got hit, you had to report to a special place to be killed. Neither approach to conflict is civilized. It just takes the barbarian attitude and dresses it up in a nice suit. He explains a little more, including his side of the conflict, which of course is going to be more than a little skewed, then pops out with a promise to return.
Ah, it's a delight to meet an alien of one's own class, a true gentleman.
Oh, he was a very handsome man.
I don't like him.
And I suppose you have a reason for this sudden dislike.
No, I don't, but he's too good looking and golden.
I thought as much, my dear child. You are indeed a child at analyzing character.
Dude, Penny likes everybody. If she doesn't like this guy, I recommend you investigate why, and with great suspicion.
Our golden friend, believe me, is as handsome in spirit as he is in appearance.
Well, before we pass judgment on Mr. Kima, I think that we should hear what the opposition has to say. You know, there are always two sides to every argument, and more often than not, the truth lies somewhere in between.
He's all gold and handsome and well-spoken, so he must be a good guy, right? First, I don't think he's all that good looking, especially with the gold paint all over him. Second, it's been a consistent thing that the smoothest talking guys I've met are often snakes inside. They've learned to be eloquent and charming because they want something, not because it's a decent way to be. Penny's decided to take her mother's advice, most likely without telling her mother.
Why, Penny?
Well, I think if you're going to have a war, you should try to discuss things.
There can be no discussion between us. You are an Earthling, very young, and probably very silly. Go back where you belong.
All right, if that's what you want. The Golden Man was right. You're mean and unreasonable.
That got his attention. Penny tells him what Kima said.
I am not as unreasonable as the Golden Man would have you believe.
Then prove it.
And how can I do that?
By coming out of your spaceship so we can see each other.
You would not be pleased. I am not golden and handsome.
I don't care how you look.
Are you sure? What if my appearance frightens you?
I've seen strange-looking aliens before.
Based on the strength of the Penny Robinson friendship magic, he comes out. Why is she making that face? He looks like a big frog. As she said, she's seen weirder than that. But we have to play up the difference between the handsome golden man and the ugly frogling. He says, hold on, I'll come out and meet you face to face.
Well, what do you think?
I think all you aliens should stop doing that. Your appearance doesn't scare her. Your sudden appearance does. She wants to know about their war and if there's a way she can mediate.
You prefer the Golden Man, all shine and glitter with nothing of value beneath.
Oh, no, sir. I like you much better than the Golden Man.
I greatly prefer my friends to be rude, obnoxious, and suspicious.
I do not want help from anyone. Now go away. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Please, sir, don't be angry. If you'd rather. Please come back. I promise I won't mention the war again.
I think part of the reason she likes him better than she likes Kima is because he's the same height she is. When she talks to him, he's at eye level.
Ah, we have company. Dr. Smith. Miss Robinson.
Hello.
You look very pretty this morning.
Thank you.
How gallant you are, sir.
I hope you don't mind my dropping in on you so unexpectedly.
On the contrary, a friendly face on this bleak planet is always a welcome sight.
I'll go tell Mother you're here, Mr. Kima.
I shall accompany you.
He approached in a more conventional manner, thank you for that. But is it wise to leave him alone with Dr. Smith?
Dr. Smith, working alone, neither one of us can achieve our goals. But by joining forces, we might realize success.
Continue, dear sir. You interest me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a wise move. Looks like one is about as shady as the other. Kima says, I can get you off this planet. Now, notice he didn't mention Earth. He just says he can get Smith off this planet. For all we know, that means blasting him into space without a suit. What does he want in return?
Supply me with some of the weapons you have in your spaceship. In that way, victory against my enemy is assured. And I would pay well.
And would the payment include returning me to Earth?
Immediately.
My dear Mr. Kima, I do believe we have just made a mutually advantageous deal.
A day ago, he was ready to grab all those weapons and blast anybody who came near the ship. Now he's giving them away to a total stranger, while assuming this guy A will keep his word and B has any clue where Earth is.
I refuse to let one weapon leave this ship.
But without our assistance, Mr. Kima will be destroyed. Think of it. That charming, cultured man, his fate is in your hands.
Now look, we have enough troubles of our own without getting involved in a fight that we know nothing about.
First, Kima never said he'd be destroyed without their weapons. He said they'd help him win. Second, Maureen is right, as usual. Unfortunately, Smith never stops talking, and he's starting to wear her down.
Do not make a decision in haste, Mrs. Robinson. I have a suggestion.
What is it?
Let me go to Mr. Kima's camp and check out his true motives.
Well, now I think that's a wonderful idea.
Then I shall leave immediately.
Smith is against it, which is solid proof that it's a good idea.
The Earth people are extremely naive and stupid. I'm sure they will give me the use of their weapons. With them, I shall easily conquer our enemy. When that has been accomplished, I shall then destroy the Earth people. And with their own weapons.
A really good idea.
Here we go! I understand the project completely. 2 times 2 equals 1.
Maybe not such a good idea. On the other hand, if he comes back from Kima's place in that condition, it should tell them something. But Dr. Smith would just decide they had a drinking contest and the robot couldn't hold his machine oil. Speaking of Dr. Smith, he's still trying to convince Judy that Kima is the good guy, so he decides to take her to Kima's camp so she can see for herself. Trouble is, they can't find the camp, and Judy just wandered into a beach ball farm? It's supposed to be a minefield. Mines start exploding randomly, and Dr. Smith doesn't know what to do. In a remarkable coincidence, Kima shows up just in time to carry her out of the minefield and back to safety.
Oh, there now. You're all right now.
That horrible alien. Imagine putting down a minefield where innocent people might wander into it.
The leader of the Zedans is not concerned with others, Dr. Smith. He wants only to win his war.
I have questions. If the Zedan guy, our little frog alien, put those mines there, how did he get so close to Zima's camp without being detected? And if he got that close without being detected, why didn't he just go on in and kill Zima? When did he do all this? I have a feeling we all know the answers, but it's part of my job to ask the questions anyway. However, since I can't jump into the TV or the video, I've appointed Penny to ask the questions for me.
Did you plant an electronic minefield to trap Mr. Kima?
Mine? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mr. Kima said you did.
Then it must be so. Mr. Kima is much too handsome and charming to lie.
You haven't answered my question.
I don't know why I'm talking to you at all. But if you must know, I had nothing to do with mines, electronic or otherwise.
Oh, I'm so glad. I knew you couldn't do anything so mean.
She asks him to come to the ship tomorrow and meet everyone and tell his side of the story. I hope he learns a little courtesy before he does. He may look like a frog, but he has the manners of a goat.
How very young and naive you are. No one will accept my word against that of Mr. Kima's.
I believe you.
Only because your heart is innocent and has not yet been injured by deceit and cunning.
She's lived with Dr. Smith for almost 2 years now. You ain't seen deceit and cunning, dude. She tells him about the weapons and how Kima rescued Judy from the minefield. He brushes her off and sends her away. Speaking of the minefield incident, on the strength of that little feat of courage, Maureen has decided to give Kima the weapons.
You were sent to Mr. Kima's camp, remember?
Yes, now I remember. Which way did they go, partner?
Well, did you find out anything about him?
About him? About him? Whom are we discussing?
Mr. Kima, you dunce! The Golden Man!
You must be mistaken, sir. The gentleman and I have never met.
On the strength of that, she should change her mind until she finds out what happened to the robot. They've gathered the weapons, but she's still wavering a little. Smith says he did save Judy's life.
Oh, I know, but it might have been a trick to get us to give him the weapons. To gain our sympathy and support.
Mom is right. The little alien is innocent.
And how do you know that?
Because he told me so.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Mom, but I just had to find out for myself.
And much to everyone's surprise, her new friend is here.
I'm so glad you're here. Now you can explain everything.
It was foolish of me to come here.
No, perhaps not. I'm Penny's mother. This is my daughter, Judy, and you've already talked to Dr. Smith.
I give you all greeting.
How dare you present yourself here, sir, especially after what you tried to do?
Maureen keeps trying to shut Smith down, but his mouth is the original perpetual motion machine.
Well, you see, the only reason I'm
We
here...
are not interested in your reasons, sir.
Dr. Smith, stop. Now we must give him a chance to give his side of it.
I couldn't care less what this creature has to say. It will not change my opinion of him.
Then leave. Before anybody can do anything more, Kima appears. Looks like we have a showdown in progress.
This camp is a neutral zone. Now I ask that you both agree to respect that neutrality.
Very well, Mrs. Robinson.
I, too, accept your request.
And to make sure that you both agree to this, I ask you to put away your weapons. What about you, sir?
I refuse to place myself in a defenseless position among my enemy.
All attempts to talk things over end up in a screaming match. It's time for battle. Maureen still hasn't made up her mind. As Smith chatters like a monkey on crack, she's pondering it all while she cooks.
The Golden Man is in trouble. That dreadful alien appears to have the advantage. Shall we help the knight in shining armor or the dragon?
All right, Dr. Smith. You can take the weapons.
Ah,
Right back into our arsenal.
what? That's impossible. Mr. Kima is depending on us.
Well, if I've made a mistake, I'll take the blame for it.
Unfortunately, Dr. Smith only likes barbecue flavors, so she had to eat them all herself. And while she's eating them, Smith will defy her orders and take the weapons to Kima. Even Hazel saw that one coming. Thing is, Kima already has weapons that make these things look like toys. Why can't he use those?
You see, my opponent and I are evenly matched in military strength. For every offensive weapon I possess, he has a deterrent. The same situation applies to myself.
I see. And that's why you wanted arms from us. The alien has no defense against them.
Exactly.
He wants to cheat, and Smith is helping him. And now let's learn Mr. Kima's little secret.
What good is life if one cannot offer the hand of friendship?
Ah, yes. The hand of friendship.
Ah, yes. The hand of...
It was all just a big facade.
And yes, he planted the minefield so he could save Judy from it.
Now that I have what I want, there is no longer any reason to hide the truth.
And now let's have a little discussion about beauty and appearances and all that.
And we are your friends.
You are my enemies. How would I be friendly with anyone so ugly and repulsive as an earthling? The very sight of you sickens me. Out!
The other alien said that on his world he's considered handsome. The humanoid bipedal hominid is not the universal standard of beauty. Smith runs back to the ship in a total panic. Maureen chews him out and orders him to go get the weapons back. Penny wants to warn the little alien. I think Dr. Smith wants to faint.
You got us into this. Now you can get us out, right? Right. Come on. Penny, no. Come back. Don't worry. We'll be fine.
Today is Disobey Maureen Day. Your turn, Judy. The little alien has built himself a bunker of sorts and the shooting has started. Penny and Dr. Smith have to hunker down in part of said bunker until it lets up. Question. If all their weapons are evenly matched, why is Kima even bothering? Why doesn't he go straight for the laser rifles?
All right, just stop for a moment, Dr. Smith. We can get up now.
What's that?
That's a prop we had left over from season 1. We decided to reuse it.
is this?
It looks like the first TV remote my family owned.
Is it a bomb?
A bomb? Oh, thank heavens. It's a dud.
Our remote never did that. The mystery machine disappears, and I have no idea what the point of that was. I did not know their simple laser weapons could do all that.
Oh, Dr. Smith, we're too late. Oh, you poor thing.
Penny, go back to your spaceship. You're in terrible danger here.
No, I won't leave you. It's our fault this happened. Mr. Kima got the neutron bombs from us.
Oh, right, we did establish earlier that there were some neutron grenades among the weapons. My bad. He gives Dr. Smith a lecture about being taken in by appearances and then tells him to drag Penny away before she gets hurt.
Dr. Smith, look! He's gonna throw a bomb!
Let's get away from here, Penny! Come away, Penny, we're powerless!
We've gotta do something!
No! Oh, don't touch it, Penny, don't touch it! Throw it away, throw it away!
Can't you do it?
Oh, come on! Oh, no!
Mr. Kima thought they were playing monkey in the middle, so he caught it. He loses. Suddenly, the little alien is all better and he's ready to leave.
What's the matter, Penny? Don't you recognize me?
But you're handsome.
No, Penny. I'm still the ugly little alien you knew before.
What she means is you look like an Earth human and not an Earth frog. He says, I took this form so you'll remember me fondly. She says, I prefer you the way you really are. He takes his leave just as Dr. Smith wakes up from his latest faint.
You're a hero, Dr. Smith. You threw the bomb back to Mr. Kima.
I did?
That's right.
I can't wait to hear what the story sounds like by the time he gets back to the ship. In the cliffhanger, Will is looking through some kind of telescope while Dr. Smith supervises, and the robot does what he does.
A high-velocity solar gale is approaching the area. Take cover immediately. Convective rate of flow increasing rapidly. Repeat, take cover immediately.
Why are you standing here listening to me? Take cover!
A solar gale! Maybe incinerated!
Danger! Telescope will act as lightning rod, attracting solar bolts. Danger! Danger!
I don't know what a solar gale is, but I think it broke your telescope. They kind of rubbed our noses in this one. The obvious lesson of the whole episode can be boiled down to one simple principle. Always listen to Penny. She knows things about people. I'll see you next time you find yourself lost in Irvingland.